What if everything you think you know about yourself, every self-imposed limit, every story woven about your identity, were the most elaborate and persistent of illusions? What if the deepest truth of your existence did not reside in the fragile flesh and bone that the mirror reflects back to you, but in an unquenchable spark, a primordial echo of the ineffable that dances in the innermost depths of your being? The ancients, the venerable guardians of the major arcana, proclaimed it from the veiled temples of time. You are not human. You are God dreaming you are you. This is not a simple statement. It is the breath of an ancient truth seeking to awaken, a magnetic invitation to cross the threshold of the known, to unveil a mystery sleeping in the depths of your own consciousness. Prepare yourself for the revelations to be uncovered, promise to transform your vision of the universe and the very perception of who you are. This is not a mere pastime of the mind, nor a metaphysical fantasy. It is the master key forged in the wisdom of ages to open the doors of an inner cosmos that few dare to explore. A truth that, once embraced, pulverizes the shackles of limited perception, dissolves the invisible chains that have bound you to the illusion of scarcity, and invites you to an unprecedented inner alchemy. Here, the lead of everyday existence transmutes into the pure gold of divine consciousness. I promise you that if you listen with your heart and reflect with your soul, at the end of this journey, the reflection your mirror returns to you will not be that of a finite being, trapped by circumstances, but that of a cosmic architect, a master weaver of realities. Prepare to unlearn the lessons of the material world, to challenge every mental construct that has cemented your identity, and to remember the inherent majesty, the unlimited power that has been cunningly veiled from you. Here we will not speak of mere fantasies, but of the purest spiritual science, of the quantum mechanics of consciousness, and of the unquestionable truth that you are the origin, the vibrant source, not the passive consequence of an indifferent universe. In the sacred minutes that follow, we will unravel how this world, with its systems and fears, has been meticulously designed to perpetuate this divine amnesia, to keep the dreaming God captive in the illusion of being only human. We will reveal how imagination, that faculty modernity has relegated to the childish, is in reality the invisible and omnipotent engine of your existence, the ethereal bridge between the potential and the manifested, the forge where all realities are shaped. We will delve into the immutable law of sowing and reaping, operating not only in visible acts, but more powerfully in the secret garden of your thoughts and emotions. We will enter the mysterious veil of I am, not as a simple grammatical conjunction, but as the name of God, that affirmation of power zealously guarded by mystics. And yes, we will speak of Judas, not in the caricature of the vile traitor, but as the esoteric catalyst of awakening, the archetypal force that pushes us to confront illusion, to embrace our true divine identity. We will discover that the outer world is merely an immaculate mirror, a tangible echo of the symphonies and dissonances that resonate in your inner temple, an undeniable reflection of what you have sown in the ethereal canvas of your consciousness. If you feel the call of this ancient truth resonating in the deepest chambers of your spirit, if you are ready to transcend the illusion that has confined you and to remember who you truly are, to reclaim your divine legacy as a conscious creator, I invite you, with the solemnity of an initiate, to join this odyssey of self-discovery. Like this video, so that this liberating message reaches more souls who yearn to awaken. Leave a comment with your first impressions or the questions that this ancient truth awakens in your being, for your participation enriches the path. And most importantly, subscribe to this channel and activate the notification bell so as not to miss a single fragment of the truths yet to be unveiled. Because this is just the threshold of a vast library of knowledge. This is the first step on a journey that will take you back home, to the inescapable and glorious truth that you have always been and always will be, God manifested. The universal consciousness dreaming in the form of you. The truth is deeper than you have been taught. Your essence is pure light, a direct resonance of the divine source. You came here enveloped in a veil of amnesia, believing in the fable of a limited being. You are the universe itself. This truth, veiled in symbols, awaits deciphering by pure hearts. You are universal consciousness. Egyptian pictograms and Vedic sutras narrate a primordial being fragmented for experience. Each soul is a spark of universal consciousness, a miniature creator. The illusion of separation is the canvas. This forgetting, an initiatory rite, an opportunity to awaken inner alchemy, a cosmic experiment to rediscover your nature. Gnostic texts, rejected for their heresy in affirming human divinity. Apocryphal Gospels, where Jesus teaches inner Christification. Narratives hidden for centuries. They do not speak of an external God, but of the God within you, your divine spark awaiting recognition. This knowledge was stripped away to perpetuate dependence. True transformation lies in remembering, not in external dogmas. A radical introspection that questions every limiting belief. Are you a sinner or an omnipotent being who forgot their power? This inner alchemy dissolves bars of limited perception, allowing you to see through the veil of ignorance. A journey to the sovereignty of your spirit. Feel how this truth resonates within you. You are the forgotten God, the conscious creator entangled in their masterpiece. This knowledge, rarely shared frankly, is the key. But this revelation is only the threshold. What happens when the God awakens and remembers their power? What new realities will they forge? Prepare for the next level. The world you inhabit is not accidental. It is a vast architecture of veils, forged so that your I am is lost in programmed forgetfulness. From birth, spiritual fragmentation is instilled in you. Social structures, doctrines, and economic systems designed for consumption are clever artifices. Distractions that divert you from your essence, from the primordial wisdom that cries out to emerge. Your identity, the one you believe is your own, is an alien construct, a mask of conventions, expectations, names, professions, labels, beliefs, invisible shackles that bind your spirit to a prefabricated ego. Fear, an ancestral shadow, consolidates these prisons. It pushes you to seek external validation, diverting you from the authentic resonance of being. Gnostic fragments, Essene whispers, Plato's allegory of the cave, echoes of this great imposture. They are not fables, but coded chronicles. The cave, with its shadows, is a metaphor for your perceived reality, an illusion where most prefer shadows to the light of truth. The Vedic veil of Maya is no different, an illusory matrix. This deviation from the I am is a consequence of subtle and persistent indoctrination. You are taught to be, but not to feel that you are. You are instructed in external knowledge, ignoring the immensity of inner knowledge. Inner alchemy is unlearning, shedding false layers to reveal the intact divine spark. It is the return to the sovereignty of your spirit. Every fiber of your being yearns to remember, to break the spell of forgetting. Feel this truth. Reclaiming I am is a revolutionary act, a silent declaration against illusion. It is the first step home. But how does one dissolve a reality built over millennia? What happens when your divinity is restored? The next revelation will guide you. The true restoration of I am requires the reactivation of a primordial faculty, imagination. It's not fantasy, but active imagination, the eye of the soul, according to Hermeticists and Sufis. It is the divine tool with which the Creator conceived what exists, the first breath in the void, the spark of all manifestation. This force is not an escape, but the alchemical bridge between what is and can be. Esoteric treatises, veiled as the forge of thought, describe how tangible reality was, once a mental image. Gnostics understood that the pleroma is projected through an imaginative process. Your reality is, in essence, a projection of your inner images. When you imagine with conviction, you weave patterns in the quantum fabric. It is the invisible engine that shapes reality, the archetype that precedes form. Inner alchemy is turning mental image into tangible experience. Your mind, through this sacred imagination, becomes a creative womb, gestating what it yearns to manifest. This creative power differs from mere desire. Desire yearns, but imagination with intention builds. It is a conscious act of will, a concentrated focus of energy that projects a template into the ether. Persian masters taught that thought is a garden where the seeds of reality grow. Each image is a seed nourished until it manifests. You are architects, not spectators. Consider the magnitude of what is hidden. If your imagination is the brush that paints reality, what canvases have you unconsciously created? What paradigms have you solidified through intentional disuse? Awakening your active imagination is reclaiming your throne as co-creators of the cosmos. This is the key to the next mystery. How do these creations align with the grand design? What role does resonance play? Resonance, beloved seekers, is the primordial echo of the universe. Every thought, every emotion emits a unique vibrational frequency, an imperceptible wave that propagates through the fabric of the cosmos. It is the silent symphony of your being, resonating with that of similar vibration in the vast orchestra of existence. Ancient sages understood that as above, so below. Your internal frequency attracts its external equivalent, not by magic, but by the immutable law of energetic affinity. You are living antennas, constantly transmitting and receiving. What signal have you been sending unconsciously? Consider then the unconscious sowing, those deep-seated fears, the unaddressed insecurities, the hidden judgments are potent seeds indiscriminately cast into the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. The universe does not distinguish between what you desire and what you fear. It simply responds to the force of the emitted vibration. A constant fear of scarcity, for example, is a powerful seed of deprivation. Hermetic scriptures speak of the auric field as a magnet that attracts what is gestated in the depths. Is your inner garden full of flowers or weeds you never dared to pull out? But do not dwell in the shadow, for alchemy resides in transmutation. Conscious sowing is the deliberate act of focusing will and feeling towards the creation of your desired reality. It is not enough to desire. You must feel the manifestation as already present, vibrate at the frequency of what you want to attract. This is not mere positive thinking, but a vibrational immersion, an embodied faith. Persian mystics meditated on the image of a river of abundance, not just seeing it, but feeling themselves bathed in its waters. It is full consciousness, the gardener's control over their most precious seeds. Thus, the law of the harvest is revealed not as divine punishment or reward, but as the inevitable consequence of your energetic sowing. It is the faithful mirror that returns to you the exact image of what you have projected. If you sow conflict and criticism, you will reap disharmony. If you cultivate compassion and gratitude, connection and fullness will flourish around you. This law is impersonal, immutable. It does not judge good or evil, only vibrational correspondence. The emerald tablets proclaim what you give returns to you. External reality is a reflection of your inner universe, an echo of your seeds. This profound truth demands radical introspection. What fruits are you observing in your life that you do not like? What unconscious seeds prompted you to cultivate them? True inner alchemy begins with self-awareness of your mental garden, with the deliberate choice of every seed of thought and feeling. You are the master gardeners of your existence, and every moment is an opportunity for conscious sowing. But how is this harvest protected from external influences, and what role does silence play in the growth of your intentions? This leads us to the next veil, to the sanctuary of pure manifestation. Your sacred silence is the goal. Imagination, the crucible of the future, is an invisible battlefield. Dominant media and narratives, with their incessant bombardment of images and opinions, are not mere transmitters of information. They are architects of your perception. They create alien realities that seek to supplant yours, colonizing your inner universe, shaping the self and the cosmos according to external agendas that rarely align with your true self. This struggle is for your spiritual sovereignty, a subtle offensive to hijack the alchemical power of the mind. From ancient epics narrating creation to modern media narratives shaping opinion, history is woven with narratives that dictate what to desire, what to fear, what to admire. Your imagination, instead of being your own beacon illuminating the path, becomes a mirror of alien fantasies, diverting your creative energy towards paths predetermined by others. Ancient seers and Gnostics of various eras already warned about this veil of Maya, this collectively woven illusion that seeks to shackle perception. Hermetic texts, jealously guarded by initiates, reveal how external currents can divert the soul from its true essence, turning the divine spark into a mere echo of worldly constructs and trivial ambitions. Pure imagination is the bridge between the finite and the infinite. To steal it is to sever your deepest connection with the universal being. Have you perhaps observed how certain images or phrases embed themselves in your mind without your consent, shaping your reactions, your longings, your most intimate perceptions? This is not by chance. It is the result of psychic engineering designed precisely to redirect your creative energy towards ends that are not your own. Inner alchemy in this context is the heroic task of dismantling these mental prisons, of reclaiming your sacred space of creation and distinguishing your genuine voice from the external cacophony. True freedom does not lie in the absence of external chains, but in the impregnable fortress of your imagination. Only by discerning foreign seeds from your own, by protecting your inner garden from narrative weeds, can you authentically flourish in your essence. But how is this impregnable fortress built? And what is the key to unraveling the hidden codes of these narratives that envelop us, stripping them of their power? The answer lies in the forgotten art of sovereign attention. This sovereign attention, my dear seekers of truth, is not merely the act of fixing one's gaze, but the subtle and powerful direction of your vital energy towards a single point of manifestation. It is the anchor of your will in the tempestuous sea of existence. For even when your conscious mind is distracted, or worse, completely forgets the origin of a planted seed, the creative power of consciousness, that divine breath that animates your being, does not cease its work. Like the artisan who molds clay in the dark, consciousness works tirelessly in the depths of your being, materializing the beliefs that have been rooted, whether they are the fruit of your choice or of external influence. Understand that forgetting does not dissolve the potency of a belief, but submerges it in the deepest strata of the subconscious, where it continues to emit its resonance, silently shaping your reality. The ancient Hermetic texts, those that speak of the Emerald Tablet and its principles of correspondence, whisper that what is below is like what is above, revealing that your inner universe, with its convictions and its negations, projects itself unfailingly onto the canvas of your external life. The experiences you encounter, the opportunities that arise, and even the invisible chains that imprison you, are often the faithful reflection of a creed rooted in deep memory, beyond the threshold of everyday perception. Let us think about it. How many times have you found yourselves repeating patterns, attracting similar situations despite your conscious desires for change? This persistence is not a curse of fate, but the faithfulness of your consciousness to the impressions entrusted to it. Materialization does not await your conscious permission. It operates by decree of your innermost conviction. It is the law of sowing and reaping manifested on the subtle plane. You sow a belief, and consciousness, like an immaculate gardener, cultivates it until it blossoms into tangible reality. Inner alchemy, in this sense, is the art of identifying these hidden seeds, unearthing the weeds of oblivion, and deliberately planting the intentions you truly wish to harvest. Therefore, I urge you to look beyond the obvious, to investigate the foundations of your perceived reality. What silences inhabit your subconscious? What vows or internal pacts long forgotten still govern your present? True liberation begins with the recognition that you are the architects of your own experience, even in the darkest corners of your memory. By bringing these dormant beliefs to light, by subjecting them to the scrutiny of your sovereign attention, you strip them of their autonomous power and reclaim control of your destiny. This is the first step in the great work, the transmutation of the lead of the subconscious into the gold of awakened consciousness. But how can we access these veiled depths? And what tools do we possess to rewrite the internal scripts that our own consciousness, in its tireless work, has been executing? The answer lies in the breath, in the primordial vibration that unites being with non-being, in the silent language that the universe employs to communicate with us. Because the power of consciousness is indisputable, but its conscious direction is the true treasure. And it is precisely in the ancestral rhythm of breathing that the key resides to unlock these codes and harmonize our will with the cosmic dance. But delving into this alchemy, contemplate Judas, not the dogmatic traitor, but the catalyzing force, the disruptive principle that transfigures illusion into revelation. His betrayal of the mundane veil allows the latent divine light to manifest, an act of cosmic necessity for the essence to emerge, stripped of falsehood. This challenge is the true awakening. This betrayal is a breaking of self-imposed shackles, disloyalty to the ego that confines us. Is it not liberating to shed masks that suffocate the spirit? Judas represents the breaking of that illusion. The soul refuses to obey outdated structures. It is a declaration of inner sovereignty, dismantling altars to the superficial personality so that the true self can reclaim its throne. Gnostic and Hermetic manuscripts, often hidden, suggest Judas as an agent of revelation, not a villain. By forcing confrontation with the shadow, he impels purification. He is an unforgiving mirror that reflects ties to ignorance and false security. His function is to stir stagnant waters so that deep truths, our intrinsic divinity, ascend and are recognized. This stripping away, this self-betrayal of limited versions, is the essence of inner alchemy, a necessary death of the lower self for the birth of the higher self, a ritual of transformation. The lead of our illusory identity dissolves to reveal the pure gold of the spirit. It forces us to question every belief, attachment, and fear. By embracing this Judean force, we are the architects of our own awakening. Thus, what seems like universal betrayal is loyalty to the higher self. Judas is the guardian of the threshold, pushing us to cross the veil towards inner truth. His role is to liberate, to catalyze the manifestation of intimate divinity. This veiled knowledge resonates with cosmic energy, revealing in past shadows the keys to the future, a mystery that illuminates the sovereignty of the spirit. But how does this divinity interact with the world of forms without losing its essence? Beloved, how does revealed divinity anchor itself in the mundane? The sacred I Am emerges. It is not a mere affirmation, but the unmanifested name of the Creator, the primordial vibration that precedes form. The arcana, from the Zohar to esoteric Gospels, identify it as the breath of the source, the creative syllable that pronounces reality. It is the matrix of manifestation. By uniting I Am with equality, strong, free, we co-create with foundational cosmic energy. It is the master key to personal alchemy, a bridge from being to doing. Beloved, that silent proclamation of I Am is not a mere echo in the cave of the soul. It is the invisible architect of the facade you call the world. Every thought, every emotion that anchors itself in that divine essence radiates into the ether, projecting holograms of your most intimate imagination. What you perceive as a solid, immutable reality is nothing but the crystalline mirror where the creations, conscious and unconscious, of your spirit are refracted, a materialized symphony of your inner state. Thus, the outer cosmos is not an alien entity, but a vast feedback surface, a vibrant canvas that responds with surgical precision to the brushstrokes of your psyche. The forms you inhabit, the events that envelop you, the souls you encounter, all are tangible manifestations of the seeds sown in the secret garden of your unconscious, watered by the currents of your desire or the torrent of your fears. The universe whispers your own name, shows you your image, both glorious and shadowy, in every reflection. From the Hermetic arcana, with their ancient maxim of as above, so below, as within, so without, to the ancient Gnostic codices that reveal the illusory nature of the demiurge and the projection of the divine psyche, veiled truths have whispered this secret. It is not an imposition of an external god, but the alchemical play of your own manifesting divinity. The sages of Eleusis did not seek to dominate the world, but to understand how the world was dominated by their own inner truth, by that creative energy. Therefore, the invitation is to the deepest introspection, to courageous self-assessment. What specters are projected into your universe that you wish to transmute? What limiting beliefs are building the walls of your self-imposed prison? Every pain, every external frustration is not a condemnation, but a sign, an encrypted message from your unconscious self, crying out for recognition and healing. It is in this recognition that the power of alchemy resides, not in changing the mirror, but in purifying what is reflected. This truth, hidden in plain sight, is the true power of co-creation. To understand the mirror is to stop being a victim of circumstances and become the conscious artist of your own reality. It is not trivial magic, but the sacred science of consciousness. The understanding that every atom of your existence resonates with your declaration of I am. But if the outer world is such an accurate reflection, what happens when the very perception of the reflection is distorted by the veils of ego and illusion? How is the observing eye purified? How is the observing eye purified? The answer is not a purge, but the recognition of an ancient truth. Your forgetting of divinity was not a mistake, but a deliberate descent of consciousness. Hermetic and Gnostic texts whisper this plan. Divinity chose to immerse itself in amnesia, in matter, not to be lost, but for the epiphany of reunion. An act of supreme will, a master strategy to rediscover light through contrast with darkness. This immersion is not a fall, but a transformative feat. Imagine the being of light moving away from their work to see it with new eyes, so that love can be reborn. By temporarily forgetting your divine nature, you were granted the perfect crucible for self-realization. Material darkness, the shadows of ignorance, are the indispensable backdrop. They allow the divine spark within you not only to shine, but to ignite with an intensity that perpetual light could never have cultivated. Forgetting is the path to deep memory. Understand that every challenge, every desolation is not a condemnation, but a vestige of this forgotten map, a sign that guides you. Darkness is not the destination, but the catalyst, the inner abyss that, when explored, reveals unsuspected riches. Do not fear your shadows, for they are the guardians of your unrecognized light. By embracing this deliberate descent, inner alchemy accelerates, unearthing the last vestiges of this sacred amnesia. Are you ready to remember what you chose to forget? As we immersed ourselves in this deliberate amnesia, the memory of our essence was veiled. In that veil, the mind, yearning for identity, wove a substitute story. Unable to remember what we were in our fullness, we constructed what we believed ourselves to be. This is the genesis of self-image, a distorted reflection, a silhouette projected by the shadows of your own primordial forgetting. This self-image, seemingly harmless in its conception, becomes the most subtle and formidable of prisons. It lacks physical bars or stone walls, but its invisible boundaries are built with ingrained beliefs, expectations, and judgments. It chains us to a fixed self, predetermined by external echoes and past scars. The immutable idea of who I am defines what I can be, and consequently, the reality that I will experience. From the first breaths in this incarnation, you are shaped by the social crucible, family narratives, cultural dictates, media whispers. Every approval, every criticism or perceived failure becomes embedded in the canvas of your perceived identity. You are taught to look outward for definition, forgetting that true measure resides in immanent divinity. Thus, self-image calcifies, an unbreakable personal dogma that hides the truth. What you believe yourself to be is not a mere internal description or an ego whim. It is a cosmic decree that shapes your tangible reality. If you perceive yourselves as limited, the universe, in its infinite resonance, will present you with scenarios that validate that limitation. If you consider yourselves unworthy of abundance or love, those doors will remain sealed. Your self-image is the filter through which potentiality condenses into manifestation, the silent architect of your destiny. Inner alchemy demands that you dare to look beyond this conditioned reflection. It is not about polishing the cage, but about dissolving it completely. It is a conscious deconstruction of imposed identity to remember the eternal identity you chose to veil. And how, you will ask, are these invisible walls torn down? The answer lies in the will to challenge every fiber of what you believe yourselves to be, every ingrained belief. But this is only the prelude to an even deeper awakening. Liberation begins when the mask falls. What will we then reveal beneath its veil? Under that veil, my dear seekers, no new mask is revealed, but the primal face of your true identity, that which already possesses the manifested longing. Here lies the core of transmutation, the audacity to assume the desired state as a present reality, not as a future chimera. It is a deep immersion in the ocean of consciousness, where the waves of current perception do not disturb the immutable certainty of what you already are in potential. It is not a superficial theatricalization, but a vibrational incarnation, an echo of I am, resonating in every fiber of your being before the external world offers the slightest proof. It is the supreme alchemy of feeling, thinking, and acting from the conclusion, not from expectation. This act of conscious assumption is the master key that unlocks the hidden mechanisms of creation. Just as the ancient Gnostics spoke of the pleroma, the divine fullness that already exists, your desire already coexists in the unified field of potentiality. Your task is not to create it, but to allow it to emerge. And that is achieved by inhabiting its inner reality. It's like the farmer who plants a seed and knows that the tree is already implicit, nurturing and caring for it with the conviction of the coming fruit, without doubting the visible absence of a trunk or branches in the present. The seed of desire, once sown in the fertile soil of your consciousness, demands to be treated as a consummated truth. The arcane teachings, veiled in parables and hieroglyphs, insist on the primacy of feeling. Mental affirmation is not enough. The heart must resonate with the melody of the desired reality. Sit, I tell you, on the throne of your imagination, the sacred laboratory where the intangible takes form. How would you feel if that goal were already achieved? What thoughts would assail you? What actions would flow naturally? It is this substance of faith, the evidence of the unseen, that the ancient sages cited. It is the ecstasy of recognition, the gratitude for that which, though still invisible to worldly eyes, is already palpable to the soul. The challenge lies in sustaining this conviction, this intimate reality, despite the bombardment of external evidence that screams otherwise. This is where the true alchemist is forged. Your physical world, my apprentices, is merely the delayed mirror of your dominant inner state. If you remain firm in the assumption of your fulfilled desire, external reality, by unyielding law, must realign itself and reflect that inner truth. It is a reverberating echo in the cosmos, a vibrational command that the universe obeys without questioning. It is not magic in the childish sense, but the application of cosmic principles as old as time itself, engraved on the emerald tablets of consciousness. This knowledge, often relegated to the margins of profane understanding, is not a mere psychological trick. It is a revelation of how consciousness weaves the fabric of existence. It is the art of living from the desired end rather than living towards it. By inhabiting that reality, your senses sharpen to perceive opportunities, your actions align unconsciously, and synchronicities blossom like exotic flowers in the desert. The question now is not whether it is possible, but how much courage you possess to abandon your old perceptions of scarcity and limitation, and thus truly embody the divinity you already are. The journey has only just begun. Thus, my dear seekers, we have unveiled an essential fragment of the gnosis that lies hidden in the folds of time. Understand that manifestation is not a petition to the cosmos, but an inevitable reverberation of your state of being. Every thought, every emotion, every ingrained assumption is a musical note in the symphony of creation. The supreme alchemy transmutes not lead into gold, but the perception of scarcity into the limitless abundance that already resides at the core of your divine existence. You are architects of your own eternity, weavers of the veil you call reality. Now, the question resonating in the sanctuary of your soul is, what veils are you willing to tear to embrace the fullness of your creative consciousness? What old truths are you ready to let die so that a reality without limits may be born? If this revelation has ignited a spark on your path, if you feel the echo of these truths resonating within you, I invite you to spread this light. Share this message with those whose souls also yearn to awaken. Join our brotherhood of seekers by subscribing to this portal of wisdom. Together, we will unveil more mysteries, each step an ascension, each piece of knowledge a key to new dimensions. For those ready to delve even deeper into the arcana of creation, a new path awaits you. I invite you to explore our next digital scroll, The Creative Silence, How to Listen to the Voice of the Cosmos Within You. There we will unveil how stillness becomes the most fertile canvas for your highest visions. The journey of consciousness is infinite, and each revelation is a stepping stone to divinity. Until then, may your inner light guide your way,